NAR-India, one of the biggest national-level organizations of realtors, recently held its 10th annual convention in Bangalore. The NAR convention saw some of India's biggest realtors, developers, investors and other real estate stakeholders come together to share their ideas and build alliances. NAR's 10th annual convention witnessed an attendance of over 1,500 delegates from 44 cities across India and international delegates from 40 countries. The event began with an opening address by the convention chairman, Mr. Farooq Mahmood, and immediate past president of NAR-India, Mr. Praveen Panse.
A very good morning to all of you and a warm welcome to all of you to my home city, Bengaluru. Today at the opening of the 10th NAR-India convention, it would be a great time to recognize the humble beginnings of this organization and the various milestones it has achieved over the last decade. In this 10th year, the Happy City theme, we are proud to say that we draw inspiration from some of the best example cities from across the world. This year, the inspiration comes from Dubai, specifically from its implementation of the happiness coefficient through the National Program for Happiness and Well-being. The Indian real estate sector is the country's second largest employer and is slated to grow at 30% over the next decade. Bengaluru is expected to be the most favored property investment destination for non-resident Indians. Followed by other cities, we find that Bengaluru has the most potential to implement the concept of a happy city, from the weather that is the envy of the whole country to the presence of a robust commercial setup with a range of multinational companies and large national companies across sectors, to being easy access for international brands looking to make a foray into the country.
My mind goes back to the first time I attended the NAR-India convention at Renaissance Convention Center, Mumbai in the year 2012. That was the first time I saw a gathering of more than 1,000 realtors under one roof. I was impressed enough to want to be an active part of this organization. Today, there may be quite a few who are attending the NAR-India convention for the first time. I pray that you too imbibe the same spirit of collaboration and come forward to serve and lead the organization in the years to come. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to each and everyone present here today. During the course of last 12 months, I have met you in your city, interacted with you, and witnessed the event organized by you. Your association has made a huge difference to the success of NAR-India this year.
A high-powered panel comprising the biggest names in the real estate sector kick-started the day's first panel, which was on the theme Affordable Housing.
Affordable doesn't mean substandard. Affordable doesn't mean inferior quality. Affordable doesn't mean something that you need to produce cheap and sell cheap. Affordable just means that you need to get the product right, get the basic right, create the same environment that you would like to give to a luxury housing. But what we do is we create spaces for people to live where generations can get born and a different sort of thought process emerges.
The new expectation economy puts severe pressure on a developer in designing a product. So largely we have become commoditized. You have to plan a product, build it to a price point. There are a lot of soaps which you can take advantage of under the PMAY scheme, etc. But customer in the middle and everything around it. So that's the way I think the new formats will roll out.
We also recognized that these new buyers now, they are not going to buy a home as their lifetime investment. They are going to buy a home to ensure that the money what they would have otherwise paid by way of rentals, if that can be converted into owning an asset, they must look at that option. And that is why today in that affordable housing segment, we find almost 2/3 of our people who are buying, they are within the age group of 21 to 35. And this is what could be made possible because affordable housing as a concept could be created in the mind of these buyers who would not have purchased.
From an affordable perspective, developer have to have a complete different mindset, because affordable is a game of speed, is a game of execution, is a game of standardization, is a game of repetition. So one has to have a different mindset wherein they cannot sit for multiple times in the project duration. So they have to be very, very clear in terms of their design brief. They have to be very, very clear in terms of their standardization in terms of specs product, as Mr. Irfan has also said.
I would like to ask Mr. Mahmood, he has global experience, he's interacted with realtors all across. How does the global fraternity, and there are multiple countries, and we know of the UK, we know of places in the US, in Ireland, where affordable housing, housing for all, is a theme for the government. So how do you see the fraternity of realtors reacting to this? How have they reacted to this overseas, and how do you see this coming to India?
The best example that I've seen closest to India is in Colombia and in Cartagena. But the most important thing was these people were brought out from the slums, the ghettos. They had a training program on how to live in these homes. These homes were small, one bedroom, 400 to 500 square feet. They had a basic price which a shell was given to them, and they could upgrade it the way they wanted it depending on how much money they had over a period of time. Bankers would loan them money to do the interiors. This is a fantastic learning experience. Just about 3 weeks ago, I was there in Cartagena, and I think India should learn from this module.
So with that, let me ask Mr. Verma, how would you advise the realtor community?
First and foremost, one must recognize that there's a supply and demand gap of almost 20 million in the housing space in the country. Affordable housing can become affordable only if the land prices are affordable. The other is, when price is so low, what one can do is take entire projects or part projects to sell collectively. Since the price is low, the effort and the marketing cycle of selling such a product is also shorter.
The whole idea of the convention for these guys to get together is to have exchange of ideas, network, and look at new concepts, new ideas, new marketing techniques, and see what's the overall environment, and under the environment how things can be worked, because we have a regulatory environment also in RERA. So I think it's more to refresh, connect and network.
International panel discussion featured realtors from across the globe discussing the business opportunities that the country presents.
John, tell us a little bit what's happening in your market in California.
Okay, thank you, Raj. So, to begin with, the Asian American Pacific Islander demographic in the United States, it's about 22.5 million individuals. It's growing at the fastest percentage. It's increased by 72% from the year 2000 to 2015. Of this 22.5 million, 4.8 are from China. That is kind of broadly known, but 4 million, not that far away from the Chinese, are indeed from India. From the countries in Asia, those from India have the highest purchasing power. It's $266 billion of that 1 trillion, 27% of that total.
Wow, some scary numbers there, John. Disruptions, distractions. The way I look at it is, and I just wrote a class for global real estate, and I call it market disruptions create opportunities. So somebody's going to lose money somewhere, but if somebody's losing, somebody else is winning,
I mean, that's a very good point. And also, what's interesting is, as I mentioned, 64% of my business comes from mainland China. 2 months ago, it completely stopped. Completely. And you sit there and going, oh, is it because of currencies? Is it, you try to come up with a reason. And it dawned on me, and see, Indians are so much like Americans, the way we think, the way we buy real estate and sell real estate. Chinese, and I know I'm making a very general statement, Chinese only like sellers markets. They don't like buyers markets.
Yusuf, what's happening in South Africa and India?
Rajiv, look, I'm from South Africa. Haven't been in real estate for a very long time. I'm in business for the last 11 years. I come from selling hot dogs. I am an author, an entrepreneur, a family man, a businessman. And, I think I've been blessed by the Almighty. With a wonderful business. We started our business about 7 years ago. With the help of Almighty, it's become an international multi-award-winning brand. We've won numerous international property awards. I'm honored to be president for the FIAPSI channel for South Africa. And, we're damn grateful. And I think, when we look at, times of doom and gloom, our business started off in the crux of the world economic crisis in 2007. And we've just been growing. So thank God, and we're very grateful.
Viviana, what do you think about the market in Miami now? Are there a lot of Indians buying there?
Yes, in fact, and I want to counteract your gloom and doom over there, because Miami happens to be, actually was voted one of the happiest cities in the United States. It's also considered the second best city to create startups, especially in the tech industry, and our education system is one of the best in the USA. So we are having a lot of Indian investors.
Tell me what's going on with the Indian market and UK market in both directions.
There are three Bs that affect real estate in the UK. It is Brexit, without a doubt, because especially in London, it's international buyers who buy up all the new build. Something like 80% of new build stock is bought internationally. A lot by Chinese, but also others. Actually, the second B is borrowing.
That's okay, Kevin. Come this way. I'm going to go sit there.
And the third B, if you wonder, is the budget, which will come on Monday.
I'm a New Yorker.
So it's borrowing is, of course, an important point. That's the second B, and the budget is the third point that affects the market.
How can people here connect and do business with somebody in Austin? What are some of the ways they can do that?
Austin, I think, really can compare with the Bangalore. We are the Silicon Hills. Other than the Silicon Valley in California, the second, third, high-tech centered area is one of them is Austin. So we are seeing rapid growth in the last quite a few years, and we have all big companies like Dell, headquarters is in Austin. Texas Instruments was in Austin. It's the #1 sector, and Apple, Google, Oracle is expanding. Apple has been expanding for years. So we're seeing a lot of growth because of this, and also University Town, University of Texas is one of the best, actually it's the best public university in South Mississippi. And it's an international university. We have a lot of students from all over the world, including China, big body, including India, so they come to study CS, architects, gas and oil. So the real estate has been gone quite a bit because of all this.
Somebody from the side of the government should be there to participate, be a part of the convention, listen to them, and at the same time, carry the message as to whatever proposals they have come up with, that message has to be carried back to the government.
We would ensure that anything which are to be done within the legal purview of the government would be done, and any process to be expedited, we would ensure it. And the Chief Minister had personally shown interest for the organization to give a better solution for housing, better solution for infrastructure, and to make the city really a happy city.
We get realtors from all over the country and all over the world also. We have realtors from 26 countries here. We get together, network, we discuss about realtor policies, real estate policies, what is the new policies of the government, how we can network and how we can build and grow our business together.
The 10th edition also saw the handing over of the presidential reign of NAR-India. Outgoing President Praveen Fanse passed the mantle to Irshad Ahmed, who was appointed by NAR-India board as the president-elect.
I would like to thank my City Association Brai, the GB of Brai, for their support, confidence, and motivation, without which I would not be here today. I would like to thank the entire GB of NAR-India for their confidence in me and electing me as the 11th President of NAR-India. Last but not the least, I would like to thank my family for their constant support and encouragement.
The last panel discussion at the two-day event saw zonal heads of various real estate bodies across India come together and discuss the changes they've witnessed in the realty business over the years.
I have started my business in 1997, 21 years back. At that time, as correctly mentioned, we do not have mobile phones. We got STD PCO booths. We do not have much technology in hand at that point of time to cater our fastest needs of transforming information to the consumers actually. Right now we are using our own ERP softwares and our own CRM softwares for doing our business in much more better way. One more major change what I have seen in my life as a real estate, as a realtor, like previously, we are just a transaction advisor. Right now, as a realtor, we are more focused on information-based technologies actually.
Excellent. Mr. Somani, can I take this question forward to Nisit? You are a second-generation realtor.
Yes,
so
sir.
what kind of journey you have seen so far?
The major transformations what I have inherited and learned and improvised is I saw my father sitting on the footpath and doing a brokerage in initial days where there were no infra and no technology was in place. And he started by from a booth of STD or PCO, then move up to pager and mobile, and then owning an office space and employing people. So, and now currently we have a good team of people. We use all the different platforms of technology and as well as the faster way of communications to reaching this.
Great. Shiva, you are, of course, the new generation realtor. And I know that you are exclusively dealing in lands. You have expertise in land. So what is your experience being in the real estate so far?
The major change, two major changes that I see in terms of real estate brokerage in the last 3 decades. First point is we never knew that we could make so much of money in real estate brokerage.
Great.
The second point that I see, today your net worth is your network.
Excellent.
So these are the 2 points that I see. If you have both, then I think this is a major change that I see.
Amazing. I think this generation is very clear and focused what they want out of it. Yes, Ashwin, what is your experience?
Apart from technology, I feel that the high-value transactions and the kind of nuances involved in our trade still need human interface, which is very, very important. It is not only technology we can look at, the kind of deals, the kind of structuring, the kind of working our buyers need. In that, human interface is very important.
Great. Yashodhar, can you share your feeling about the change so far in your journey?
There is an IT role which is being played, particularly through digital marketing. Nowadays, 70% of the leads which are coming for new property purchase is through digital lead generation. So these lead generation and subsequently arriving at the qualified leads for the site visit is another team which is an IT team.
Great. हमारे बीच एकदम यंगेस्ट बंदा है जो सेंट्रल जोन का वापस एक बार जोनल हेड चुना गया है. हितेश, आपकी स्टोरी बताइए, आपको क्या चेंजेस देखे आपने रियल एस्टेट?
थैंक यू विनोद भाई. जब 2008 में स्टार्ट किया था तब मेरे पास एक छोटी सी वैगनआर कार होती थी और मोबाइल फ़ोन. लीड जनरेट किया, पेपर एड लगाया, धीरे धीरे करते 10 साल में आज मेरा जो बेसिकल काम है रियल इस्टेट में प्रोजेक्ट मार्केटिंग, और अभी इंदौर में मैंने 17 प्रोजेक्ट मैंडेट लेके पूरा मार्केटिंग किया है और 20 से 25 मेंबर का आज मेरे पास में टीम है. तो ये ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन आया है कि जब हम खुद सिंगल वर्किंग करते हैं तो हम एक लिमिटेड काम कर पाते हैं, और हम एज ए टीम वर्किंग करते हैं तो हम बड़ा काम कर सकते हैं.
There is a group of organized realtors who are accountable. We have our own protocols. We have redressal cells where customer needs or grievances can be redressed. And we have code of ethics, most important, which enables us to pull up people if there is any wrongdoing amongst any of our members.
Today, expectations are very high from the customers when they are dealing with the realtors. So that's where NAR-India plays a very important role here and shares the knowledge to the realtor.
This is only a platform in India where more than 1,200 realtors come from different parts of India, different parts of countries, and they come together, interact with each other, exchange their card, network with them and do the business. And this, I think, is only a platform in India where you can see under one roof more than 1,200 realtors.
The 10th edition of BMI's Project Management National Conference was recently held at the national capital. The conference theme, India in 2022, leading a disruptive global market, provided a platform for project managers to gain insights on how the country, organizations and professionals could positively leverage disruptive forces. Day 2 of the conference started with a keynote address by Sister B.K. Shivani on keeping the spirits high in a world full of disruption.
There's been a lot of rapid change in the outer world. And most of us are helping people to adapt to that change in the outer world. But along with adapting to change in the outer world, I personally feel it's time for us to introspect on platforms like this. Are people internally equipped and are ready to adapt themselves internally to then adapt to the change in the outer world? So leader is not about what is the qualification and what all I have achieved and have experienced. Leadership is what is the energy of the field, the aura that you carry, because only a pure, clean aura will empower others. The rest will only advise others. Two things is completely different. And empower matlab, आप जहाँ हैं, आप औरों को भी ऊपर खींच लेंगे. And so if we eradicate anger, one emotion from our organization, we will be empowering everyone to energize their vibrations. They will go home happy and they will energize the vibrations of their children. And then together we can create, in the next 4 years, first and foremost, eradicate depression and the list of mental health issues, and create a country which is happy, healthy, ethical will not be a word then, and then wealthy. And then when we do that, India really has the power to be a lighthouse for the rest of the world. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
After Sister Shivani's insightful session, the chairperson of Altigo Capital India, Naina Lal Kidwai, delivered a keynote address on global trends and preparing for disruptions.
We, all of you, are in an era where we have very dramatic change. Change which none of us can predict. The change that is coming to us in everything we do, in the way we work, to everything that countries, in fact, evolve to, is going to be about disruption. We need to focus on accountability, integrity, and sustainability. Because as we align with this aspect of growth, we are accountable to many around us. And that culture has to be one which upholds sustainability and social impact as a core value, because the communities around us are going to become more demanding. The community that exists around our factory is going to become more demanding. We need to understand the change. We need to educate ourselves and adjust to change. We need to recognize what we do not know. We need to keep learning. And I'll end with a favorite shlok of mine, which is Maha Stavira Sangarakshita. To know what we do not know is the beginning of wisdom. So, thank you.
Vikram Negi, Vice President Global Technology Services, IBM, explained how digital transformation could lead to a digital disruption.
One of the things which we all need to understand, what is digital transformation? And for a common man like even for me and everybody, I think we all think, as we all studied this
when we were in kindergarten, the story about the elephant and the blind man, which are trying to feel the elephant, and everybody has their own consensus that, what the elephant looks like. And I think that's exactly what the digital transformation today is to many of the companies, to many of us, when we are doing it, whether it is big data, cloud, all of the above, and how does this all come together? So digital transformation, so what is it? It's basically not just about technology. It's a whole customer experience. It's a whole change. It's a whole transformation which a company has to go through to give a customer experience. It is just not about bringing in the IT. It's all of the above. The computers are good at learning. The softwares can, learn, but they cannot have critical thinking. They cannot have a foresight. They cannot have, what human beings we bring in. And of course, this is going to be the biggest asset which we need to maintain and reskill ourselves, unlearn, right? And one of the things is we shouldn't be thinking that, artificial intelligence is going to take over. No, it is not going to happen. Because artificial intelligence is going to help us in doing better things, across. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you, Project Management Institution, for inviting me. Thank you.
Chhavi Rajawat, Sarpanch of the Village Council of Soda in Tonk, Rajasthan, spoke about how disruptions can help in good governance.
There's enough disruption that we're seeing in businesses, in the private sector, at very many levels. But there's a larger portion of India, as we all know, that lags way, way behind. And if you're looking at being part of the global phenomena of moving ahead and making that disruptive force work for us, then I believe that each one of us has to participate far more than we are doing at the moment. I think what our country really needs is that participatory form of development, which requires for all sectors to come together and for us to stop pointing fingers at just the government and saying that it's the government's job. I think the government, while it has the intent, it fails in or lacks perhaps the management skills, which all of you seated here definitely have, which would be far more effective if we can come together and start participating in that role of development. Thank you very much.
Dhananjay Arvind Tambe, Deputy Managing Director and CIO of SBI, elaborated on how you can become an excellent project manager.
I believe that this country needs above all good project management skills. 3 areas where we suffer: project delays, project cost overruns, and quality of projects. It is possible to do it in this country. The only thing is you need to imbibe those skills. You need to bring those skills. And you don't have to go to Pennsylvania for learning that. Within this, it is all within you. It's all within you. You just need to bring it to the fore. If you can do it in your everyday life, if you can do it in your private life, why can't you do it in your public life? Just do it. I mean, I'm sure you will make a difference to this country. Right? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Co-founder of Robinhood Army, Arushi Batra, gave a presentation on how one morsel can make a difference.
We're a zero funds, voluntary-based organization. And we take excess food from restaurants, from parties, from weddings, from events like these, and we serve it to the people who need it more. People who don't know where their next meal is coming from. People don't know if it's going to come at all. What I've learned so far is that a 2-second high five, a 2-minute chit-chat, a 20-minute proper sit-down talk, or a 2-hour food drive. What I've learned is that what matters at the end of the day is the smiles, the happiness that you're able to get from people. And so that's why we say we're in the business of spreading smiles. These are some of the smiles we are fortunate enough to get every time we step out and do a food drive. We're in the business of spreading smiles. I have to say that I say this on behalf of my entire organization. I think I am very privileged to be able to represent, but this comes from all the 20,000 Robins that do this day in and day out. Thank you so much for all the love and support, and hopefully we'll see you on the field very soon serving with us. Thank you, and have a great evening.
The event concluded with the disclosure of next year's conference venue by passing the baton.
I have one last ritual to perform. That is passing the baton on for the 11th conference. Hyderabad is our next conference, the 11th one. Hyderabad chapter, president and volunteers come over and take over the baton for a successful 11th PMI in the conference.